This is the plaintiff, Maribel Cohn. She says she pawned 6 rings and a charm at the defendant's pawn shop, and the inept fool lost her stuff. That's right, the lady doesn't know if the gold was melted down, moved to another store, or what. Bottom line, the defendant owes her the $1,000 value of her precious belongings, and that's just what she's suing for today. This is the defendant, Shamoli. She says she sent the plaintiff a certified letter stating she owed them interest on the pawned belongings, and it was ignored. The plaintiff claims she paid it, but if she did, she would have a valid receipt, which she doesn't. She's sorry, but she followed all the proper protocol and laws regarding pawns and owes nothing. She's accused of losing it.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff pawned 6 rings and the defendant lost them. And now the plaintiff says it's highly suspicious. But the defendant says the plaintiff fell behind on the interest, so tough. It's the case of all that glitters is no longer the plaintiff's gold.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Maribel Khan, you are suing the pawn shop represented here by, what would you like me to call you, Shamoli?
Yes.
Okay, Shamoli. You are the owner of the pawn shop. You don't want us to mention the pawn shop's name or your last name, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll respect that. For $1,000, double the jewelry's worth that you say they inappropriately disposed of after you pawned it.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Around October, actually, I'm going to give you the precise date. October the 23rd, I walked into the pawn shop and pawned 6 rings and 1 pendant. On March, because I overlapped, they gave you 4 months. But in back of the ticket, they give you an extra 30 days. And you have an extra 30 days.
Close, aren't you? Okay.
Yes. But before going into that, I did go in and spoke to his attendant. She had an attendant that works there. And I told him that I would be late. He said it would be all right. In March, I came in and paid an interest of $91 to give me 4 more months. Okay?
Who'd you pay it to?
The attendant. She have a male attendant that works there.
A name for the person?
He refused to give me his name when I went back when I was inquiring about the jewelry, and he also refused to give me the correct phone number to the shop because the number that's on the pawn ticket does not, when you call, it's disconnected.
Okay.
All right.
So, but he was still there when you went to pick it up?
Yes, he was there. When I went to pay back, when I went to pay the $91 interest, it was a different man there.
I'm sorry, you've lost me.
Okay.
You pawn your jewelry
in October.
October
when
what?
I went to pay
October what?
October 23rd.
Okay. Do you have the paperwork from October 23rd?
Yes, I have the original pawn ticket. I also made you a
copy. So you pawn the jewelry then, and do you have a photocopy of the jewelry, like a picture?
Okay, that's the original.
May I see it?
Mm-hmm.
How many rings?
6 rings. And it was 1 pendant.
All right, so go on.
Okay, when I went in...
Is this for $150?
Yes, this is what they gave me. He asked me how much I needed, and I gave him exactly what I needed. I didn't want anything else but that. That's what I needed at the moment.
Okay.
All right. When I went back to collect it in July, the original guy that I appointed...
But why July?
Because the 4 months, he gives me 4 months. After I pay the $91 interest, he gives me 4 more months. From March to July, you understand?
Yeah. Do you have a receipt for the...
That's the other thing. When I went back in July, he proceeded to tell me that the guy was supposed to give me a new ticket.
Not in July. In February, when you
he wrote on that same...
Slow your roll and listen to my question.
Okay.
Okay. You pawn it in October. Mm-hmm. You have 4 months, okay?
Right.
November, December, January, February. All right. February 23rd is the expiration date, but as you point out so helpfully, but I got a grace period and I'm going to squeeze every last day. Right.
No,
so when do you go back and pay this $91?
In March.
March what?
The 26th.
All right. And according to you, you didn't write all this.
No.
No. The guy wrote that.
Yes, he did.
So that, according to you, bought you $726.13. And then you come in July, and what happens?
The man proceeded to tell me that that guy was supposed to give me another ticket. And I told him no.
So now it's a new guy.
Yeah, no, it's the first guy from before.
Yes, I understand. The first guy from before, do you have a name?
No.
Okay. The guy who's there in October, is that the same guy who's there in February?
When I went back to, no, that was a
February.
new worker. There was a guy working there.
Okay. The guy who's working there in February, have you ever seen him before?
No. Not
Okay.
after that, I didn't see
So
him.
you only saw him the one time when, according to you, he wrote on this receipt.
Right.
Then you come back in July and it's a different guy.
It's the same guy, the original guy from the first time.
From
And he-
October or from February?
From October. He
Okay.
acknowledged the
so
guy.
there was one different guy in the
Right.
middle. Okay, so when you go now in July, what does he say?
He said that guy that was working there, they had problem with him. And
Okay.
I said, that has nothing to do with me.
Right.
This is the ticket. He said he was supposed to issue you a new ticket. I said, but he didn't. He said, then proceeded to tell me, we'll need time to find it. But
Okay.
if there was a new ticket never issued, it should be under the same number.
Right.
So it shouldn't take that long to locate it.
Right.
He said, give me your number. I'll call you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
2 weeks went past. He never called.
Okay.
So I went back in. And I kept going after that. Every other day I would go and I would go.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like a couple of months after that, there was a legal aid truck outside, like around the corner from this thing.
Well, that's convenient.
I went in there
So you
and I
went to
spoke
legal
to the
aid.
legal aid.
Justice
And
on
advised
wheels.
me.
Okay.
He advised me to go to some small claims court because
Okay,
it
what's
sounds
going
like
on?
they lost my ticket.
What's going
and
on?
That's what I did.
Ma'am, she pawned her jewelry on 10/23/2012 and her expiration date was February 23rd. After that, we gave like 30 days. According to the 30 days, her time expires on March 23rd. She just said that she came on 26th of March.
Yeah, but she also said, I think you were here, she also said that she walked into the store on March 26th and paid $91.50 in interest. Wait a minute. Did I
Sorry.
breathe and give you the impression I was done speaking?
Sorry.
Paid $91.50 in interest, and then that gave her till 7/26/13, and that your employee wrote all those things in the blue ink there, and therefore she was supposed, because she paid the $91, she bought herself several more months.
Okay. Ma'am, my employee said she never came and we never got no money because this is not the practice of our business. After expiring the pawn, we don't take interest and repawn it. We take interest only when the time we return the stuff back to a client.
Wait, I
Either-
didn't understand that. Say that again.
Okay, if she said, if she's coming after 4 months or 5 months and she wants to pick up the jewelry back, at that time only we take the interest.
What, that's what she's saying she did. She says that she came in, all right, on March 26th. Would that be within the time or outside of the time?
It's outside the time.
Okay, and then so let's say you're correct, because it sounds like it's, might be a few days outside the time.
But why take the money?
She says your guy then took the $91.50, and you're saying he didn't. Who was working on that day?
We don't know who was working because I have only one person who works over there 7 days a week and nobody
You have one
else.
person who works 7 days a week?
Yes. Otherwise,
Why would
I am
anybody work
there.
7 days a week?
Ma'am, everybody needs a job. He works. So even I go and work, but nobody was there. It's only one person.
Is that person here to testify?
Not here.
Okay. Do you have an affidavit from the employee?
No, ma'am.
So you're saying she just wrote all this on there?
Who's pawn stuff here? Who's pawn? Did you ever read the terms of the pawn?
Absolutely not, but I probably should have.
So you have no idea when they can take your stuff for good. You have no idea of any of that stuff.
They verbalize it, but I probably should have read through just to make sure.
Automatically believe what they're telling you.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Who would read it honestly? Who would read the back? One person, and I don't even believe you. Going inside the courtroom.
He didn't wrote it down because, as she said, the original guy was not there. The first time when she pawned the jewelry, he was there. The second time, the third time when she was there to pick up the jewelry, he was there.
Well, who
But
was there in the in-between time?
We don't know. That's
What do you mean we don't know? It's your business. You should know.
Ma'am, there was nobody. There's only one person who works or I work.
Okay, so then it's not true that you don't know. You're saying to me that the only person who worked there was the one employee.
Yes.
Always. Okay, now prove that, because you have a unique way of being able to prove that, and that's that employee being in court here today.
Okay. He
It would
is
be
not
great if
there.
I had that
He's-
employee in court here today.
He is working. I have no idea above that.
Well, but you've had no dealings with her. Maybe you should be working today, and he should be here, who had the dealing with her in October, the dealing with her, and who would look me right in the eye and tell me she never came in February. It's like,
And why would he tell
look,
me?
I am not unaware of the fact that this is kind of bogus. You know what I mean? Like that.
Ma'am, we usually, when we pawn the stuff and somebody is here to pick up the stuff, we take the money and we return the stuff back to them. We never do it this way, that we take the interest from them and not the actual amount. And we are not in a practice of doing that way.
Wait,
Like if she has a
I can't just pay you the interest and give myself more time?
No.
Just a moment. The back of your contract says that it doesn't say we do not waive or modify any term of this contract. It says no extension of time to redeem or waiver or modification of any term of this contract shall be valid unless written and signed by us. That seems to accept the fact that there's such a thing as an extension of time to redeem or waiver or modification of the contract. What it says it here.
Ma'am, we have to give them a letter, proper letter.
I think you should, but I don't know that you do. And
No.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why are you suing for $1,500 for no offense?
Oh
for
no, I'm
this?
not suing for $1,500. What happened was when I
I'm
went
sorry.
to the
Why are you suing for $1,000?
When I went to the
for-
legal aid, he asked me the value of it, and I told him about $500. He told me to put $4,000.
Okay, no. But you do.
I'm
No.
going by what they told me. Yeah.
Did you read the back of your contract?
Yes, I did.
What does it say?
And it's not to exceed the value of twice the amount of what they gave me.
Right.
Yeah, so
which
that's
would mean
why-
$300, not $1,000.
Well, that's what the legal aid told me to do.
You know, I've got a bit of a problem here. And the problem is I have somebody telling me this is what I did. And there was another employee there. I have her telling me not only that, but then the guy who was there in October and July told me, oh, we had all kinds of problems with that other guy. I have you coming in, and only you. You don't bring me that employee who had 2 out of the 3 dealings, possibly 3 out of the 3, but 2 out of the 3, and who could tell me it's not true. Nobody else has ever worked here. And it's bothering me. It's bothering me. Were there any gems on these things?
They had stones on them, but I don't think that they were of any value. They were, I'm just being truthful.
Yeah, well, I just insist on people being truthful when they're
Yeah, that's
oath.
what I can know. That's all I can do.
Right. By the way, where is the stuff? It got melted?
It got melted, ma'am.
This time they had me going back and forth. All this time.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
But the issue is, what is it worth? You're capped at the 300. I'm looking at it, and I am. What I'm going to award you is a very generous $200 verdict for the plaintiff, based on the lack of evidence on the part of the defendant. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
The pawn shop defendant is the first one out here. What's your reaction to losing this case like that?
I did not lose anything. The only thing is that she's claiming something which we don't have, and the period was also expired. We cannot help her out. Otherwise, we don't want to lose any of our clients.
Why didn't you bring an affidavit from your other employee?
If I knew it, definitely I would have got him over here.
Okay, all right, right down this way. Okay, follow Officer McIntosh around the corner. And you come on in here and tell me if you're satisfied with
Yeah, I am.
getting money.
I am, but I would really like my jewelry back, but I'm happy. It was a fair verdict, I think.
Who do you think this mystery employee was?
She's lying. Nobody could possibly work in a pawn shop 7 days a week. She knows she's lying. And she herself said she worked there. I've never seen her there once. And I work right across the street from there. Not once did I see her. What can I do?
Harvey?
In some ways, I think they make. You know what? I got to stop you. Turn the camera. That is the cutest dog. I was going to tell you something about the law, but I got to just show you this dog. I had no idea this dog was coming along. Can you make this dog show his face just for a second? That is the cutest dog, other than mine, ever. That is the cutest dog. Okay, how much time do we have? We got 7 seconds. Anyway, that was a really cute dog. We'll see you next time.